Hi, welcome back for episode 2 of Build a Rocket. That's what I'm going to call this. Today, on this video, we are going to get our fins ready for adhering it to the body tube, and then we're also going to make um, our engine mount piece. So what you'll need today, guys, is you will need your fins. You will need your engine mount tube, this thing. If you can't find that, look inside of your body tube because it's in there. It's in your package. It might be hidden a little bit because it fits inside of the body tube. And then we'll use this green adapter ring. And in here, you're going to need to get this piece of metal out. This is your engine mount hook. So I'm just going to use my scissors to cut this open. Be careful not to cut any of the other things that are in here. I'm going to slide my hook out. Ta-da! And then for materials like your own supplies that you're going to need, guys, you're going to use some glue. And again, I just use Elmer's school glue because it doesn't dry super fast. So if I put something on there wrong, if I move the adapter ring a little bit wonky, I still have time to adjust. It's easy to use. It's pretty cheap. I can get at the store easily. Then you also will need a craft knife. Here's mine. Something that I can cut pieces with, some sandpaper. Again, this is a 100 grit sandpaper. If you want to go a little bit finer, you can do that, but I use 100 grit. And then a ruler or measuring tape of some sort. You can do the measurements either in millimeters or in inches. I like millimeters because I'm a science teacher. I use the metric system a lot more, but we can use it however. I'll show you how to do it both ways, how to measure both ways, okay? So, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to prepare these fins, and I don't want you to pop them out yet. I don't want you to try taking them out. I want you to take your sandpaper, and all we're going to do is we're going to go over this side, and then we'll flip it over, and we'll go over the other side, just real quick and easy like, okay? So you're not trying to make these small or anything. You're just trying to smooth out any imperfections or anything like that that you might have. These fins are made out of balsa wood, and balsa is a wood that is incredibly light, thank goodness, but it's also really breakable. So yeah, just be careful with that. You'll notice that I'm standing in the same direction of the grain. That's what you should be doing. You should go see how the grain is like the little lines that are built in here. You want to sand in the same direction. You can go back and forth, but that's the way that you want to move your sandpaper, okay? All right. Then we're going to take the fins out of the frame. And you don't just want to pop them out because they'll break. And once they break, I can't fix that very easily. It's tricky, and they tend to not fly right after that. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your craft knife, take the top off, be very careful when you're doing this, and you're going to cut right where these little joints are. You see where it's joined right there? You're just going to cut right through there. Okay? You don't have to cut the whole thing out because it's just hooked together in that one little spot. So you'll cut through that. Do you see how I have a paper underneath my surface? I have this thick folder so that I'm not scratching my table. Parents would be very upset with you scratching your table like that. Don't do it. Okay, so I'm going to go this way, cut through this piece. Okay. Just keep going around your shape. And this one is ready to move. This way. Hold it just like a pencil. We've been virtual for so long, it's like, do you even know how to use a pencil? But yes, you should, because you use pencils for math all the time and science some of the time. So no excuses. Pop that out. And finally, this piece over here. Okay, I'm going to put the top back on my knife and set it aside. You'll need it one more time yet today, so just keep it handy. I'm going to set aside the frame. I don't need it right now, or hopefully not ever. Sometimes you can kind of make an extra wing out of that, but we don't ever want to do that. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to sand down these fins. So take a look. You see how there's like little bumps right here where it was joined with the rest of the frame? We're going to sand those down just a little bit. You want it to be smooth so that it will adhere to the engine tube. So we're going to go around just really lightly. I just want you to get rid of those little bumps first, okay? And then we have to do a little bit more sanding to finish preparing it for launch. We still want the shape to be there. I don't want you like sanding it apart. I just want you getting rid of the bumps. So it goes pretty quick. It does not take a lot of effort to get rid of that bump. See that? Do that on all of them. Just getting rid of the bumps first. A little bit more. Yeah, there we go. One more. Here, here, and then this little bump. Okay. We have one more bit of sanding to do. What I want you to do is I want you to sand this shortest end, the short side right here, and then you're going to sand this longest side. The shortest side and the longest side. And what you want to do is you want to make it so that this side right here is kind of rounded. You want to take off that sharp 90-degree edge. So all I'm going to do, set these aside, I'm going to take my sandpaper and I'm going to go maybe 3 or 4 times right along that corner and just try to knock that corner down a little bit, okay? Yep, that's all I did. It took me 4 times. And I'm just making it so that that corner is a little bit more rounded. It'll be a wee bit more aerodynamic as it soars through the air. 1, 2, 3, 4. Be careful down at the end. It's thin, balsa is fragile. You don't want it to break. And remember, it's just the longest end and the shortest end that you want to sand down. We're not sanding down all of it, just those pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay, you can't really see my hand. I don't know if you need to, but one more. Longest end and shortest end. So here we go. Okay, now we're done preparing the wings. You'll definitely want to wipe off the sandpaper or the um, stuff that comes off when you're sanding. Sawdust, that's what it's called. Um, and then you just set your wings aside, your fins aside. Be careful not to snap them. Don't break them or anything like that. Then we're going to get out all of our other little pieces. We're going to use our engine mount tube, our adapter ring, and our engine hook, and our ruler. Oh, I forgot to tell you, you needed a pencil. Do you need to pause real quick and go grab a pencil? You can. Okay. We just have a couple measurements that we need to make on this thing. We are going to end up making this setup right here. It's going to look kind of like that. Oops. There. See how it's got this hook on here? It's hidden underneath here. that's what we're going to make. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is you are going to get your ruler. And you are either going to use inches or millimeters, so it's up to you. I'll show you first how to do it with the inches side. We are in the United States. We do still use inches. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. Okay, so what your first markings, you're going to make 3 markings on here. 3/8 of an inch, 1 inch, and 2.5 inches. So our quarter of an inch is this line. The 1/8 of an inch is this line. So we need 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. Your first marking will be about this far in. I'm going to hold my tube up to my ruler. Do you notice how the start of my ruler is not at the end? It's a little bit in. So this is where the end of your tube needs to be lined up with this guy. Okay. And my first line goes here. Oops. My second line, so 3/8 of an inch, 1 inch, and 2.5 inches, which is almost at the end, but it's 2.5 inches. Oops, hold on. Okay, so those are my markings. Okay, now if you want to do the metric side, you want to do centimeters instead, same thing. You'll mark it at 10 millimeters, which is 1 centimeter, 25 millimeters, that's 2.5 centimeters, and 6 4/10 centimeters, or 64 millimeters. Okay, so take your little writing stick, and you can measure in 10 millimeters, 25 millimeters, and 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.4 millimeters. See how our markings are lined up, whether I used metric or standard English? It's the same. Okay? Next thing that you're going to do is you are going to take your craft knife and you are going to make the little slit that your engine mount hook goes in. So that will be at that third line that we drew, this one that's way up towards the other end. And you're just making a little itty bitty slit. See how it's just small enough for the engine mount hook to go in there? So I'll take my knife. Take my knife. And I'll just push it in there. I don't even really need to move it much, because it just, by the time I get it in there, just push it in most of the way. It's about the width of my engine hook. And then I'll take my engine hook and put it on there and make sure that it fits. Done. That's it. That's all we got to do. Okay. Cap my craft knife, put it aside. Oh, one thing that I did forget to tell you to do, sorry guys, is I'm going to take out my engine mount hook. Gently, 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 gently. I got to wiggle it a little bit so it doesn't. I'm just going to extend this line so that I can see it. This will be, this tube, this engine mount tube goes inside of your body tube. And this is where you want your engine tube lined up with. Okay, so that's pretty important that you can see that. You want your engine mount tube sticking out of your body tube a little bit. Okay. Again, I'm putting my engine hook back inside. maybe. Hold on. There. All right. So then what needs to happen? This is the next part. Is this green adapter ring is going to slide on. So slide it on from where the hook is mounted. And when you move it, it's got to go down to that that second line. So top line is where you put your engine mount hook. This line is where it's going to line up with your body tube, and that line is where your adapter ring goes. So now that you know where it goes, I'm going to slide my green adapter ring off, put a little bit of glue on here. Now you don't need tons. Don't make it sloppy and messy and gross. I'm just doing a light bead of it around here. And then this is why I use my Elmer school glue and not like fancy rocket building glue, because it does rocket building glue or modeling glue or whatever, it dries really fast. And I want to make sure that I can get my pieces lined up exactly where they need to be. I don't want them to dry super fast. Scoot your adapter ring right down to that line. There. If it goes a little bit past, it's okay. Just wiggle it back up. Make sure it lines up about right where that line is, okay? It doesn't need to be perfect, but right about there. And that is your engine mount is complete. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it aside upside down like that, and I'll just let it dry. And then tomorrow, work on the next part. All right, we'll be marking some tubes. I have to figure out how to record myself by my door so you can see how to draw lines. It's a little bit tricky, but we'll manage it because you're awesome. And if you have questions or something goes a little bit wonky, please let me know and we'll see how I can help you out. I'm so excited. I can't wait to launch rockets with you guys. See you guys later.